What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pillowfort podcast. I'm here again with Kate and Shania, and we are again going over The Promised Neverland. So this week we are doing the Kuvitadala arc, which is what I'm going to call it, but I'm, again, sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. This arc is chapters 96 through 112, if you read along with us, so definitely. There will be spoilers for everything in The Promised Neverland up to chapter 112. So if you're not caught up, keep that in mind. Spoilers ahead. But as you guys know, if you've watched this podcast before, me and Shania have read The Promised Neverland, but Kate has not. So we'll start. Kate, what are just some of your basic thoughts on this arc so far?
Yeah. So initially, I'm just thinking with the whole arc in consideration in my mind that this is probably definitely one of the bigger losses for Emma's big plan to keep everyone alive here, because we lose a lot of good people and just a lot of of the family that we built here. I really like this arc. It's a lot less action-y than the last arc that I would say. That's definitely not a word, but
Sure.
Yeah, but a lot of it was spent preparing to go to Kuvitadala. Is that how you say it? I don't even know.
I don't know. Nobody knows how to pronounce this word. It's not a real word. It's fake.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll just say it like that. Yeah, but a lot of it is prepping to get there and just trying to discover these clues that William Minerva has laid out for them. And yeah, I think it's really interesting. It definitely delves into a lot more of them working together as a full unit and family. And then we get to see everyone again. I was I love the moment where even though I think Hugo is how they said his name in the manga, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce it either. But yeah,
I think I don't know if it's supposed to be a Hugo thing, but they're just throwing a Y in there to be fun. But yeah, it seems like it's Hugo with a Y.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, so Hugo comes in just with Emma, and immediately Gilda's got her finger on the the exploding button. she's ready to blow it all. She's like, "What's going on? You gotta tell me." But then I love how quickly they all switch gears when they actually, I think they can recognize that he's actually trying to help everyone now. So yeah.
Yeah, Shania, what did you think about this arc?
Yeah, this arc was emotionally hurtful in many ways, especially after we had such success with Goldie Pond and there were no casualties, surprisingly, or really not any in the ultimate mission. And then here we lost so many so quickly. I mean, I guess not that many, but it was still jarring losses all around. And yeah, so it's exciting because they're solving this mystery and they're getting steps closer, but they've also just faced this giant loss, especially of father figure characters.
Yeah, so Kate, what did you think about the little we'll say trip that Emma went on? The Emma and Ray, as well as Don and Norman, not Don and Norman, Don and Gilda. I think Zach and one other kid went with them. Do you remember who else went with them?
Oliver, I think, right?
Oh, was it Oliver? Okay.
It might have not been.
I didn't know if it was the main one, but there was another person with them. But first of all, I really liked that, that emotional connection, the little moment with Don and Gilda, where we're so happy that you want us to go, and I'm like, oh, guys, you're main characters.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, in that moment, I was feeling a lot of just oh, you guys, you're a valuable member of the team and everything, because I felt both of them at that point, they just felt you know, probably Emma and Ray don't really see us at the same level as a lot of these other kids that are coming in, and like a lot of them have had like different training than we've had. So at the moment that the other kids from Goldie Pond come in, they're probably feeling a little bit down on themselves, like, oh, now we're just gonna get pushed further back into the list of who gets taken on these trips. But yeah, I really loved I love their like moment of excitement there. Well, Gilda's like, finally, I'm not just a caretaker to you guys. I'm so happy, and I'm like, oh, Gilda.
Yeah, no, it's so nice, right? It's so nice. I don't know. Shania, do you have any good feel moments from this arc? It's kind of before we go south pretty quick here.
I mean, just agreeing with that. Like, it is nice when they have that moment where they're like, we're included, we do matter, you think we can handle ourselves, which is a little heartwarming, but I think it's kind of overshadowed by everything else that emotionally scars you.
Yeah. So, like, I remember reading this week to week, and I was this was very trippy to me week to week, but I would like to know how you guys felt rereading it. So, when they get to, like, what I'm only gonna refer to as, like, Demon World Stonehenge, like, where, like, there's no, like, I don't know what that place was called, but, like, when they get there, like, Emma has this whole, like, trip where she sees this being that we've kept hearing seeing the name of, but, never... Like, we don't know his name. It's like written in the like weird demon script thing.
Yeah.
But she meets it. What did you guys think about that whole interaction? I don't know if you had any thoughts about that.
That was insane, because I mean, at this point, we've really only experienced things that have to do with the physical world and the now. So, like, obviously demons are super crazy, and that's something that's different from the regular humans that we're used to experiencing in our physical world. But for them, like, all Emma's really seen is their physical world. So it seems like it's almost like into this whole different, like, plane of existence, like, where this demon guy is and everything. And yeah, I thought it was super interesting how they put that spin on it too, and how, like, you know, all of these specific clues are leading to this, like, vision that you see when you get there. It's not like a physical thing that's there in front of you, but instead like a vision thing. So yeah, I thought it was really awesome.
I, like, can't remember how I felt about it when I first read it, but in this read through, it was kind of funny almost, because, you know, they're looking and they're trying to find this thing, and then all of a sudden Emma's transported into, like, this weird vision. And I just like the demon thing she finds, because first it's, like, portrayed as very scary, because there's this whole feast thing, so we're, like, expecting some sort of, like, evil demon entity. At least I was. And it's, like, this kind of shrimpy little demon that's just like, hey, this isn't how you're supposed to come in here. We can chat, but, like, you gotta come in the right way next time, please. Which was, like, a surprisingly, like, chill interaction for how much I thought, like, he'd be a big evil creature.
Oh yeah, me too, 100%. Like, I kind of forgot about that, honestly, until you said something about it, Shania. But I was like, oh, why is he so little? Like,
yeah, why is Mew the Pokemon, the ruler of the demons? He's like, it's like he looks like an Abra. Like, he's such an unintimidating appearance.
I just, like, I'm confused too, because, like, the demons are, like, 9 feet tall sometimes, with, like, these, like, terrifying teeth and, like, disgusting faces, and then there's just, like, this, like, little tiny 3-foot dude, and he's like, yep, I'm the guy. And he seems like very casual, which is not the vibe that I caught from anybody else about him.
No. It's definitely super interesting. So Kate being the only one who's seen the anime, I don't know, and if you don't remember, that's fine. But do you remember if they vocally say his name in the anime ever?
No, I think if I remember correctly, they just said like him or something like that, like something weird. But yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because, again, I mean, as a manga only reader, I literally know this being by those symbols. That's it. And so
right.
I don't know how to pronounce that name, obviously, because those are not real people words.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think anybody would know how to pronounce that.
No,
so.
I don't think that's a thing that you can do. But yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I really liked that trip. I thought that was a cool, I liked the entryway. I do kind of find it funny that he was like, like, why are you using my back door? Please come in the front. Like, it was definitely a subversion of what we thought, I think, the demon, like, god was gonna be. Like, and it's, he's just not as intimidating as I originally expected either. But we also, in this arc, got a time skip. It wasn't a whole lot of time, but it was like a year and some change. Which I don't know. Kate, were you expecting for there to be a time skip in this manga at all?
Not really, honestly. I was not, cause it's only a 2-year span. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like reading other manga and anime has ruined me to like thinking that like these like 10-year spans or whatever are in like this, and you go through time skips or whatever, but I don't think I've really experienced one with like such a short time as 2 years. At least from when they left Goldie Pond, so I definitely was not expecting it. And it's like right after the moment when Andrew, the guy, goes and visits Phil, and I was like so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening to Phil? No. And then it's like time skip, and I'm like, what? Wait, I don't even get to know what happened to Phil.
That was so stressful. Like, whenever he comes to see Phil, I'm like, you leave my 5-year-old son alone. You don't go near him. Don't look at him. But it is, now that you, like, mention it, it is kind of weird that they do a time skip almost, because I'm just, like, thinking of it from, like, a writer's point of view, and you think that they would leave it be what it is so that they have time to work with and that they can draw the manga out as long as possible. So it's interesting to think about their process, because they effectively cut their time off that we're left with like 4 months to make everything happen. And then I mean, I'm glad though that they had that time with Yugo and Lucas, and they could just be together again, and that made me happy, and I kind of wish we'd seen it more, but is what it is.
Very, very important question. Is Phil okay? Kate, you're the only one that can answer once again, because obviously me and Shania know. How's Phil doing, Kate?
I don't know. I am very worried for my man Phil. I mean, like, he
doesn't look good.
Yeah, Andrew was like, I like took care of your collaborator on the outside, and I'm like, you better not mean Phil, you man. you better not be talking about Phil.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so honestly, as sad as it would be for the rest of the crew, I do hope that taking care of the person was just the phone person and not Phil, because I don't know, honestly. From that response, I don't think he's okay, but I really really want him to be okay.
Andrew's horrifying. Like, I forgot how. So he rolls up and he's taken out not just whoever they talk to on the phone, but like anyone else in the network. So while, our group's been hustling, he's been doing his own sort of hustle, and he just takes them out. Like, immediately snipes 2 kids, then gets the third, on the side a little bit. And that was intense. That whole takedown was so high paced, and I don't know, I was kind of overwhelmed. And then whenever they realized, we're gonna have to kill people, and Ray's the only one who seems to have that realization, and Yugo's no, this is for the adults. And I'm but you were sort of adults, because you were also kids when trauma happened to you, so there's no qualified adults here, please all live. And sadly, that is not what happens. And then Andrew with the half blown up face is just haunting, honestly.
I think so coming out of Goldie Pond, right? Which again, I think, like we said last week, Goldie Pond is the height of success for Emma, right? This is everything went exactly, well, I mean, not exactly, obviously, but everything went how she wanted it, right? There were no casualties to the kids, and all the demons were taken out. So, total success for her. And going from that arc to this arc is so jarring. Because we spend most of the early parts of the arc, doing this investigating about how to make a new promise and all of that. But, when Andrew shows up, it is sudden and things are going south. What did you think about the raid that was going on there, Kate?
Yeah, that was really insane, because I almost feel as though I was lulled into this sense of comfort with the last arc and how successful it was. And I was so happy for Emma. I was yes, finally Emma gets a full victory here where everybody survives, everybody gets through it. So I thought maybe, we can keep this pace going, but clearly. And I kind of the mirror of it's kind of crazy how before all of them were meant to be eaten by demons, but in Goldie Pond, all of them survived, right? And none of them were eaten by demons. But then some of them ended up being killed by people in this arc. Yeah. Not even demons, people. I just think that is so crazy to me. And yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that coming off of the last arc.
As this manga goes on, we'll see clearer. But I have a hot take that I would like you to weigh in on, and you might agree with me. So this might not be a hot take, but I think that so far up until this point, Andrew is the scariest villain we've seen. There's nothing scarier than Andrew. How do we feel?
I don't know, because I feel physically, right? Probably until he gets his face blown off, because that's a whole nother horror scene in itself. But physically, at first, I think initially you don't see it, and that's also a part of the reason I think does make him more scary, though, is because you don't know that he's capable of doing this stuff. You can see how smart he is in his planning, in his organizing of everybody, and doing his research by going to Phil and doing whatever. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And I think I would actually agree. I don't think that that's that hot of a take, but yeah, I think I would agree.
Yeah, I think I would too, but he's scary in his mindset and mentality. Because, so far the villains or antagonists we've had is, we have Mom, who is very much of the mindset that, we have to maintain this order. This is the best sense of normalcy we can have. So, it's a necessary evil. It is what it is. I hate it, but it's how it goes. And then you have the demons, who obviously are giant monstrous beings who want to eat the children, but that's the hierarchy of the food chain sort of mentality there. But then you have Andrew who, like, in his psychotic breakdown is screaming about how these children are just food. They're just supposed to be food. And so it's like this separation of, like, status quo where he's put himself in this, like, other tier of human. And so it's like, for his mentality and his doggedness in attempting to achieve these goals, he's definitely a very intimidating villain.
Yeah, it's absolutely about mindset for me. That's why I say that, because of how he views this. So I think that every other villain we've had, kind of like you were saying, Shania, has had some kind of, like, justifiable, like, reason for doing what they're doing, even if it was just their own pleasure. Like in Luvis's case, I would say it was about having, like, him experiencing excitement. Not anything like, we wouldn't say like, oh yeah, you should definitely kill people for that. But, like, at least he was getting something out of it. Andrew scares me because it doesn't even seem like he's getting anything out of it. Like, he's not even benefiting himself. He's just, and, like, there is a justifiable position for his side. Like, and I thought about this when we first were introduced to, like, William Minerva being this James Rotary, right? And, like, leader of this clan that keeps the division. It's like, you can see, like, why that might be important. Like, it's like, yes, we do have to sacrifice all these children. That's certainly a bummer. But all of humanity then doesn't have to be hunted. So, like, in a utilitarian way, you can say, okay, I see why maybe you would feel like that's the right way to go. But, like, Andrew isn't even doing that. Andrew is like, you are not human. You are cows, and you deserve to be eaten because you're food. And, like, just doggedly following it without, like there's nothing in it for Andrew. Andrew's just, like, I assume takes home a paycheck for this. I hope he takes home a paycheck, but I'm not sure.
It's like he takes home a paycheck, maybe. Probably isn't murdered by demons, which is also a plus, but, like...
Yeah, and maybe even at that, because he was, in fact, murdered by a demon, if we can remember the end of this arc.
Yeah,
he was, true. In fact, eaten,
he
so...
was, yeah, that's true.
No, he didn't even get out of that.
That didn't even work out for him. That's too bad.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, Andrew's story, but I gotta say I don't feel too bad, you know? But yeah, no, I remember reading, like, this week, right? Where we were like, and I even remember when I was reading it week to week, but, like, when Pepe runs in and he's like, they're coming now! Like, and just all of a sudden, they're in the hideout, they're in the shelter, like, the kids are, like, hiding on the floor, like, I'm like, whoa. It happened so quick that it was, like, definitely jarring. It was crazy, especially since most of this arc is paced pretty slow. You know, there's not a whole lot of action, and then all of a sudden, people are getting shot, kids are going down. Yeah, no, it was definitely crazy. But I do want to talk about Lucas and Hugo more specifically, because I think this is, like, obviously, you know, they have died this arc, but this is, I think, their biggest time to, like, really shine, especially Hugo specifically. But what did you guys think about the end for these two?
Yeah, I was very, very sad about this. I was happy how they went out, because I knew, first of all, when Lucas was like, you just gotta leave me behind, man. I'm not gonna make it. It's okay. I knew Hugo in that time was never gonna leave Lucas behind. I was like, there is no way this man will do that, because, like, he even, like, explained to Lucas, and that's what I thought as soon as Lucas said that too, was like, I did that before, and I was literally, like, I was insane for 13 years. Like,
13 years, it didn't go well.
He's like, I've literally been losing my mind for 13 years, and then I finally found you, and I get, like, this relief. So, like, hell no, I'm not gonna leave you here to die by yourself. So yeah, I thought it was a good ending, and also just like the knowledge that kind of both of them went into that situation very prepared to accept the reality that they were probably going to die. Like, I think that was like so awesome to see, just because, you know, it takes even more like courage to actually go through things like that when you're consciously very aware that this situation could definitely like end my life. But they both had the motivation of like letting the other kids survive, and almost they wanted to sacrifice themselves for the next generation so that they could reforge the promise and just make the whole world better. But yeah, I thought that was a really, really like emotional and just an awesome like written part.
For sure. Like, as I like kind of I guess touched on it earlier, I jumped the gun a little bit there, but like it was really emotional to like see their reflection on it too, as, you know, Yugo kind of thinks about like the time he spent and like the pain of like getting hope to have it taken away again, because at that point he knows he's gonna die. Like the one panel where they say that like this sanctuary being their final resting place was like really chilling, because they'd started off with such hope, and then Yugo experienced such devastation to find hope again, and now realize he's not going to get to that dream world, and neither is Lucas, but that it's okay for like the time that they spent with this new family and like what their death means for that new family. And also, yeah, the fact that Yugo's like, I'm not leaving you. Nope, don't even consider it. Which again, like going back to Andrew's mindset, he clearly saw that as weakness there and sees it as weakness in Emma, this whole like sentiment or like attachment to people and how it slows them down. But I think it's their strength, and definitely made for a very like emotional moment. And I love too that like Yugo kind of appears to Emma in like this dream as she like comes to her own understanding that they're not catching up, they're not going to be joining them. So yeah, I don't know, it hurt. I wish they had more time, like, but I get that like they kind of had to die so that the story could be about the kids. But I'm like, we could have had them here still. It could have been fun.
It's yeah, no, I always think about, first of all, I think really cool that like Lucas could do this much, because again, he's crippled in one of his feet and has one arm. Like he's like running through the hallway, like shooting people up, and I'm like, excuse me? Like you were using a cane, like a chapter ago. Yeah. But as you know, that's cool. But one of the things one of the little moments that happened in this arc that like really almost made me kind of sad, right? Is like we see Yugo, right? And how they used to, like, he's having this flashback of them having, like, this tea party. And I remember, so, like, we first met him holding a broken teacup. Oh, yeah. Sitting in that room. And we're like, why is he... And, like, I think even one of the kids mentions, like, why is he holding a broken teacup? Like, there's nothing in it. There's nothing, like, why... What a weirdo. But, like, you see now that they, like, broke in when he was, like, doing this, like, almost, like... fake tea party thing and like remembering them and about to kill himself.
Right.
If we can go back, like he was gonna go with teacup in hand, and then they broke in and like legitimately like saved his life in a way in that point. And it's just like, it's very like, it made me feel better because it's like he got to experience this family for a little while, for at least like a year and some change, or however long this time skip was, right? He got to experience this, and he's still gonna go out like this. It was really cool, but that made me really sad about that moment, about laughing at him at the moment where he's holding a broken teacup when they break in. I'm like, wow, he was about to kill himself right there. He was seconds away from death.
Yeah,
and it also really makes some of his. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, yeah, but it makes a lot of his first actions make more sense for sure. Just because, like, you can see now, we know now that he was just gonna like end it all in that moment.
Yeah.
So he literally does not care about anything at all. So it definitely makes a lot more sense, his attitude when they first showed up. So
Speaking of when, like, we first show up and we first meet Yugo, I love, like, this read-through in the manga, I'm paying more attention to, like, the little side stories or side panels, and there's, like, this whole collection of scenes of Lucas learning what Yugo did when they first arrived, like the gun to Emma's head and everything else, and it's just Lucas perpetually being like, who are you? You're not Yugo. What? You did what to them? And it's just really funny to see, like, his reactions to how insane Yugo had been.
Yeah, these two definitely, this was their arc, you know? This was their arc to shine. Yeah, I mean, but they don't end up killing them all. They kill most of them, but Andrew somehow, miraculously, survives and catches these kids, and we have the final showdown. Do you guys have any thoughts about that little final showdown?
yeah, so I thought that was so insane because, like, the kids, they're just going out to kind of do this reconnaissance check almost, and they're even planning it out, like, okay, like, we don't even have to get that close to the bunker, like, we'll just get close enough so that we can kind of see maybe what happened, you know?
And these are Gracefield kids, so they are geniuses.
Yeah. So they're doing all this planning and preparation, and then I love just the transition between just this calmness where we kind of think, okay, Andrew's dead, you know, like their kids are gonna be okay, like they're gonna be alright. But then, like, all of a sudden, like, one of the girls wakes up on the reconnaissance team is like, everyone's gone. And then, like, almost immediately, we get, like, dragged into this whole showdown where, like, Andrew is holding the kids hostage and, like, shooting them and has already killed, like, a bunch of them. Like, I just thought the whole thing was so insane. And they really did, I feel like, a good job of just lulling us into that sense of security of, like, yeah, he's probably dead, so it's fine, right?
Yeah, that's insane, especially, like, how destroyed he is. Like, what pay level is he getting that he is still rolling up half, like, I assume his just, like, flesh is, like, burnt off because it was an explosion. Like, he was in the middle of it, so, like, what? How are you alive? But yeah, it's a super intense showdown, and I like that it gave, is it Oliver gets, like, this really awesome moment to shine as, like, the successor of Yugo and Lucas, because where Andrew was aware of, like, the one guy trying to snipe him, he had no perception of Oliver being there. Oliver somehow shoots him through his joints, like, perfectly. So I don't know, it was a really cool Oliver moment. And then it ended unexpectedly, though, because Ray is, like, braced to shoot him and is like, you know, sorry, Yugo, like, I have to bear this burden now myself. And he's, like, preparing to take his first human life. And then this giant wild demon comes out of nowhere. And I was just like, it wasn't anticlimactic, but I'm like, nothing in this arc is going how I thought it would. Everything is suddenly changing in the most unexpected way.
Yeah, I'm glad that Ray didn't shoot him. I think I like that he wasn't forced to do that. I think that's, like, a very important point, because up to this point, we still have not killed humans. And I would like to argue that Emma actively tries not to even kill the demons unless she has to. But it's definitely, I think it's a fitting end for Andrew, and Oliver definitely got some spotlight there at the end, which was good. So, yeah. Did you guys have anything else on this arc? No?
Nope.
Cool. Well, then we're going to go to our favorite 3 questions at the end. Shania, did you have something?
Yeah. Or did I read too far ahead to miss the whole new message from William Minerva that came out? The final message that that Lucas took before everything went down. That whole William Minerva coming at ya, or someone who knows the shelter's there and is hoping it reaches. So is that William Minerva? Is he not dead? Is he dead? Like, feels like a big moment to talk about.
Yeah, Kate, that feels like a you question, considering James Rotry. Is he still with us?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was like 1 or 2 panels where it almost seems like they were trying to make us think as though he was still around in some form, because it seems like they were somebody was asking him to do something, or like saying, "Are you ready, James?" or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he could still be alive. I would be very surprised, because I would think that probably a part of his brother's betrayal would be killing him, right? Like, that's the first thing I think of, I guess.
Right, yeah.
When it comes to betraying someone.
It's a good start,
it's like,
for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I thought definitely it would have been like, you know, his brother like killed him and then like took over Goldie Pond and all that stuff. But yeah, I think he definitely could be alive though with this. It could just be a recording, but I'm hoping that he's still alive.
Yeah. It would be interesting. It'll be interesting to see as we go forward. But yeah, no, that's a good point, Shania. Thank you for not letting us skip that. All right. So now, on to the big 3 questions that I ask every time. First of all, it's who's your favorite character? We'll just, to make this simple, we'll go Kate, Shania, me. Who's your favorite character, Kate?
My favorite character is yet again Ray. Ray is staying strong through this whole thing, basically, for me.
I really wanna. Are we picking just out of the main 3, or in general? I'm gonna give Hugo a shout out for this one. He's not the full one. I'm in my feels right now. I'm in my feels for Hugo. So right now he's my favorite.
No, I get it. Good
Wow.
pick. Good pick.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm very shocked by that. Yeah, mine's still Lewis. He's the best. I love Lewis with all my heart. Almost as
Not
like,
Phil again? Phil's
no,
back, though.
just listen. I'm worried about Phil. I'm deeply concerned about Phil. But we've got time, you know. Maybe he could be dead.
Maybe.
I hope not. But Lewis still takes it for me. All right. Your ranking of the big 3. Yes, Norman is still in this, even though he has not been seen for this entire arc.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ray, Emma, and then Norman for this arc.
I'm gonna go with Emma, Ray, Norman. Been pretty stable throughout.
Yeah, I think I'm Emma, Ray, Norman on this one. I think that Emma's like, I like Emma's little like, even though this arc, I mean, we've lost kids, so that's a pretty big deal, especially for Emma. I like that, like, at the end, she's still, like, looking for hope and positive, like she's always been. So, yeah, I think Emma takes it for this arc. She edges Ray out just a little bit for me. And, yeah, so that brings us to, how does this arc compare to the other ones that came before it?
Yeah, so I like this arc a lot. I think this might be one of my favorites. I don't think it's my number 1 favorite. I think last arc is in the position of my favorites at the moment, but this one is definitely up there for sure. There was a lot that happened and like a lot of growth and like this whole time skip that we experienced. So I thought it was definitely really interesting.
For me, this arc probably so far is my least favorite. And I think that's more me getting caught up on sentiment than anything else. Because, like, there was a lot of, like, cool development and everything. But I'm just like, characters I love died, and so I'm like, not a good arc. Bad arc. Not a good time.
Death is a no. No for Shania, apparently.
Death is a no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm somewhere in the middle on this. I definitely a good arc. I like the information that we get. I like how it feels kind of mysterious, especially for most of the beginning. That whole stuff where we get to see like what a demon village looks like was kind of cool. Like, so I think it does a lot of cool things, but I think it sits somewhere in the middle for me. Goldie Pond is still definitely my favorite arc, which was last arc. So, at least so far. But yeah, so thanks guys for listening to the Pillowfort podcast with us. This was the Kubitadala arc, chapters 96 through 112. Next week we're going to be doing what's called the King of Paradise arc, and I kind of forget why it's called that, so I'm interested to relearn that. But that's chapters 113 through 130 if you're reading along with us, and definitely do read along with us. We'd love to have you listen. Comment down in the comments section, like and subscribe. I bring you these podcasts along with all kinds of other videos every single week. So thanks for listening with us. Until next time, this has been the Pillowfort Podcast.